We had elections across the country yesterday, and it was an interesting night for progressives especially. But let's do the big ones first. Na, hey, 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 goodbye. Thomas Massie has lost his primary in the Kentucky 4th. I know a lot of people are upset about this because he's seen as somewhat of a maverick in the Republican Party. He's a piece of garbage. Thomas Massie voted twice against the Emmett Till anti-lynching bill. Twice. Him and Chip Roy were the only Republicans who voted against it twice. This guy, a few days after a school shooting, got 7 months left in Congress, and I hope he does something useful for us on his way out the door, but once he gets out that door, he can rot. Interesting points about this primary. The most expensive primary in American history. AIPAC spent $9 million funding his opponent. Overall, this race cost over $30 million. Just like the Indiana State Senate primaries from a few weeks ago, where Trump ousted a whole bunch of Republicans who had voted against his redistricting by having them primaried, he spent way too much money on it. Someone with an iron grip on America should not have to spend that much money to win a primary in his own party. But also, it's a cult, you know? The other big one for the night was Georgia. They had Supreme Court races and also primaries across a whole bunch of different seats. The two Democrats running for their Supreme Court seats in the state of Georgia lost to the incumbent Republicans, which was a little strange because Democratic turnout was actually really, really good. The electorate in Georgia last night was D+7, which is a big swing to the left from 2022. More Democrats than Republicans pulled ballots, which means that some Democrats pulled a Democratic ballot and then voted for the Republican incumbent for the Supreme Court races. Why? Because they're nonpartisan. There's no D or R by the names of these judges. There is an I, though, for incumbent, which a lot of people take to mean independent. Since this was a primary election, people were being given Democratic ballots, and then a lot of voters just assumed that whoever was on it was a Democrat. So this was a voter education issue. But that turnout, it's good news. Meanwhile, the Working Families Party has endorsed 6 different Democrats running in primaries last night, and they won them all. Nice. Alabama also had an interesting night. They had primaries for their governor race. In 2022, only 21% of voters in the primaries pulled a Democratic ballot. Last night, it was 43%. 105% increase in polls for the Democratic ballot in Alabama. That's progress, baby. In the Idaho State House, there's something called the Gang of 8. This is kind of like the Idaho Freedom Caucus. They are extremely far to the right. I'm talking like they live in Gilead. 5 of those 8 Gang of 8 members lost their primaries to mainstream Republicans. These aren't Democrats, these aren't liberals, these are still MAGA Republicans. Just like in Congress, you want a smaller Freedom Caucus, you want a smaller Gang of 8. And now you have it in Idaho. Good job, everyone.